later on. But yeah, should be an interesting show. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys, and huge congratulations on your YouTube success.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You know,
Thank you.
we never get that right off the bat. But that's really nice.
It's called
Congratulations to you
English
for-
manners.
We need more English guests.
See, that's what I was thinking when I was looking into your channel about how you went to prison and everything. I was like, this motherfucker with his British accent. Like I imagined like 2 days in, they're like, man, you better ask the professor about that. And like, so you get like little nicknames and stuff. Did that actually happen or no?
But believe me, I was playing the Harry Potter card all the way through it. I mean, you damn Yanks love your goddamn limey cousins from across the pond. And they'd be asking me if I had tea and crumpets with the Spice Girls and the Beatles and all this stuff. Yeah.
That's great.
Sean, can you move your mic a little closer to your mouth? Just listen.
Yeah.
So why you went to prison in Arizona under Sheriff Joe?
Wasn't my brightest idea to be running an international ecstasy trafficking operation in Arizona when Sheriff Joe Arpaio had created this house of horrors, Maricopa County Jail, which, according to National Geographic Channel, who did my Locked Up Abroad episode, they said it's got the highest rate of death out of all the jails and prisons in America. And 62 people died in that jail over a 5-year period around the time I was there. And they weren't just people getting beat down and murdered by gang members. Some of them were mentally ill prisoners murdered by the guards. One guy, Brian Crenshaw, failed to produce his ID for the evening meal. Guards pulverized him, broke his neck. He went into a coma. He died over a month later from severe internal injuries. Another one, Scott Norberg, he came in. The guards started beating him, electrocuting him with tasers. A female guard tried to stop it. She said, "Stop beating him. His face has turned blue." They pushed her off. They kept beating him. The prisoner started yelling, "Why are you beating him? He's already dead." His face was blue. And
Jesus Christ.
They could not stop beating the corpse, even though it was like they were like a pack of wolves. They've just, like the amygdala takes over and they're just ferocious and they can't stop, animalistic.
Did you say that this was like during a meal? Everybody's trying to eat their mac and cheese and there's a dead guy getting beat to shit.
Yeah, you see all kinds of crazy stuff like that. People having one woman, Deborah Brayard, she was a shoplifter on a short-term sentence. Her daughter was calling all morning long saying, "My mum needs her medication. She's a diabetic." Guards were like, "Tough shit." And she started to have seizures. She was pissing on herself, crapping on herself. And the guards were just walking right around her like as if nothing was happening.
Jeez.
Wow.
So why do you think that is about the guards? Do you think that it's a career that attracts sadistic people in part, or that they get so jaded by and this is not, I've never been to, maximum security prison, but I did watch Silence of the Lambs where maybe they just caught one eye full of cum too much and then they just stopped caring.
Clarice, tell me now.
This is our sinister genius and cum throwing wing. This is
Did you breastfeed your baby?
Yeah.
Made your nipples hard, didn't it? I would say a combination. You've got good and bad in every profession. I'm not knocking all guards. It does attract some sadistic types, and the energy in the environment is so pervasively negative. Even the guards who start out fish guards, fresh looks on their faces, trying to help people, within 6 months, their faces have turned to stone. But it's the same for the prisoners as well. As soon as I went in, all completely gang controlled. Heads are getting bashed against toilets, bodies getting thrown around. I've got a look of shock on my face. Prisoners are coming up to me saying, "You got to get that look of shock off your face or else you're going to get smashed next." So within 6 months, I've got dead eyes. And once I got released, even on my driver's license picture to this day, my face just looks completely immune to yeah.
We're definitely going to circle back around to your drug enterprise days because those are fascinating. Mm-hmm. But I'm really interested in the hellhole that was your prison and how it became so much worse by accident. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but your bail was something like $750,000 initially, right?
Initially, yeah.
and your
Yeah.
family all got together and raised, mortgaged a home, and a relative of yours who was a retired policeman came and spoke on your behalf at a bail hearing to try to get that reduced so that potentially you could get out and get back on the street again until you await trial, I suppose. And that backfired, right?
The bail was doubled to $1.5 million cash only, and I was
Yep.
reallocated from medium security to maximum security. Now, I'd seen the cockroaches here and there, but I got to my cell in max security at about 2 in the morning, and there's a bit of light slanting in from the day room. I notice it's only a 2-man cell. There's 2 bunks at the back of the wall. Go in, and I'm wondering why my cellmate's asleep on the top bunk. Because where I come from, people fight over the bottom bunk, thinking something's not quite right. Walking a little bit around in the cell, something drops off the ceiling and bounces off my shoulder. Like, what was that? Looking at the walls and the ceiling, there's like a swirl effect. And I'm thinking, all right, my eyes are playing tricks. So I put my face right up to the wall, and it's just absolutely covered in American cockroaches. Nothing like I'd ever seen before in my life. So I'm thinking, all right, how's he asleep up there? He's wrapped a sheet around him. So 8 at night is lockdown, 10 lights out. The roaches know when the lights are about to go out. They start lining up in the cracks in the wall in this old building, doing this little movement with their antennae sticking out, like an army waiting to invade. So as soon as the lights go out, they just flood the room. Got a choice: wrap the sheet around you, look like the mummy, leave a breathing hole. It does keep them off you, but this is the Sonoran Desert. It's almost 50 degrees UK temperature, 120 US temperature in the summer. And there's a vent at the back of the cell attached to what's called a swamp cooler. The only time that air was blowing was when the county health inspector walked through the building, and as soon as he left, it went back to the broken setting. And what I mean is, we would ask the guards why it's working and just say, oh, it's broken. So wrap the sheet around me. And I've already got all these bleeding, skin infections, and bed sores from the heat. And when you wrap that sheet around you, you just start sweating so much, and you're itchy. Your skin has turned soggy because you're sweating every single day. You scratch yourself, clumps of your own skin detach under your nails. So in the end, I just throw the sheet off and let the cockroaches crawl on me.
So you were just slowly decomposing every night.
Yeah, rotting away. It looked like I spilt battery acid on my leg at one point. I had this just big like infection on my leg. Because I'm sat on my ass a lot, I'm getting all these bed sores on my butt. And I put a tank order in, a medical request to see this doctor. And he tells me to drop my drawers, and he's going to check my ass out. And then he just goes to grab my dick, and I pull back. I'm like, whoa, there's nothing wrong with my dick.
Not yet.
Sorry. I'm just seeing if you can get hard. I'm just seeing if you can get hard. I'm just seeing if you can come. I'm just seeing if you can come. Yes.
When I got back to the medical waiting room, every other prisoner said he tried to grab their dicks as well. But back to the roach story.
Yeah.
So sheet around you, it is way too hot and itchy. So you just throw the sheet off, let them crawl on you. Now, they don't bite. They tickle your feet, tickle your legs. I woke up so many nights from tickling my hands. I flinch now if someone tickles my hands. But they get on your face, mouth, nose. The favorite place of all is going in your ears to eat your earwax. It's like honey to them.
Oh.
Literally, I had a little piece of towel and I washed my ear. I washed the earwax out of my ear one time with this little piece of towel, and I hung it near the sink. And the cockroaches, they crawled on the little piece of towel and they were pulsing right on where the earwax was. Like, honey, this is our honey. Feed me.
That's brilliant. The sacrificial towel.
I had a neighbor.
I knew
Who was
where it came from.
I had a neighbor who was asthmatic. Wakes up one morning, out of breath, grabs his inhaler, takes a blast, shoots a live cockroach inside himself, starts freaking out, saying he can feel it moving around. He froze up his stomach contents, and somehow it's stuck inside him, and it won't even come out. Even in the daytime, there were so many prisoners were doing cockroach races on the day room tables, gambling on who would be the winner. Now, over time, you've got to just harmonize with your environment. And I was living with the cockroaches in that maximum security Madison Street jail for about a year. So in the end, I'm just chilling with them, watching their habits. They communicate through these chemical smells. If you threaten them, then like these warrior ones come running under your door, like, what's up over here. Some of them have little pouches of babies. It looks like a section of a worm. And if they manage to get that under your bunk, and I would find them like attached to books and stuff, all the babies hatch and they go absolutely everywhere.
Not the
But
babies.
they will, all the little baby cockroaches, they're just all over the wall, just swirling and swirling, swirling. There was white ones. I don't know whether they were albinos or they were shedding their skin. People say they would survive a nuclear attack, and I agree. If you throw them in the toilet, they look like they're drowned. They're like this, but the little bastards are actually holding oxygen to themselves. And then I saw people just smash them and like completely flat. I'm reading my book, look over an hour later, and the thing is reformed. It's just gone on to have a nice day. So
there was no concern at all. Obviously there was no concern. So the prison themselves were like, all right, it's fine for every single inmate to just live in a sea of cockroaches. And that's just the way they live. And I'm sure that also made everybody a little on edge. Sleep's not great. And so probably made it more violent, more shitty, just a circular, pattern there, right?
Absolutely. The violence was nonstop. It's all racial gangs. So I'm white. I go in. Skinheads from the Aryan Brotherhood come up to me like, hey, we want a word with you. Get in that cell over there. You can't say no to these guys. They're just going to smash your head into the wall. So I go into the cell. They close the door behind me, so it's almost closed. Biggest one gets in my face. He's like, what are your charges? I'm new to this. My charges are on a computer printout. Legal terminology. I don't know what it means. So I give the worst answer in the world. I say, I don't know what my charges mean. Now they've got me against the wall about to attack me. What do you mean you don't know what your charges mean? Are you a chomo? Are you a chomo? I don't even know what a chomo is at this point.
You learn fast.
So that's child molester, and that is KOS, which means kill on sight.
Yeah.
Jeez. So in the end, I pulled out my charge sheet. They saw I was in for drugs. They saw I had big charges. I had a big bail bond, conspiracy, $750,000 cash only. They were like, God damn, you guys the mafia? Who guys were you killing or what? I was like, no, raves, ecstasy, we didn't kill anybody. And then they explain all the rules. It's like, if someone calls you a punk or a bitch or hits you, you have to fight them on the spot or else the whole gang will attack you. You must take showers or they'll smash you for bad hygiene. Can't go make you friends with the guards, they'll smash you for snitching. Can't sit at the tables with other races, they'll smash you for that. So they're constantly looking for people to beat up because that's how they earn their reputations and tattoos. To rise up in the gang, you've got to commit increasing acts of violence. To be fully patched into the AB, you've got to kill someone for them in the jail. So there's 4 gangs. There's the white gang is the AB, Aryan Brotherhood. Then you've got the Mau Mau is the black gang. Then you've got the Chicanos, and then you've got the Paisas. You've got the old Mexican mafia. So it's just constant gang warfare in there, and it's all about the drugs. The absolute priority of the gang is getting the drugs in. Approximately 90% of the prisoners were injecting heroin, injecting crystal meth. The whole day just revolved around getting the drugs in. And that's why these jails now have created the ideal target market for gang members to sell drugs to because they can't get out of jail. And they've even got the guards bringing the drugs in for them to sell to them. And most of these people were arrested for crimes related to drugs. Young people came in back then. The biggest arrest category was weed possession. And then they leave addicted to heroin. They've got neo-Nazi tattoos. They've made their criminal connections in prison. They've got a criminal record. They can't get a job. And by the time they get out, they're converted into full-on criminals. Everybody I saw who got released just came right back. It's really sad. But that's how the prisons stay in business. It's $50,000 a year of taxpayers' money